everybody, and welcome back to another JK Running Productions video. And here today, I'm going to give you my 3 strategies to racing during this whole COVID situation, or in general, just racing with smaller meets. I mean, I've had to shift my race strategy. Usually I like to pick people off, but I've had to change my strategy because simply there is not as many runners to pick off. So I'm going to detail how I've kind of changed my strategy and give you some tips for racing during COVID. Also, before I get into that, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and turn those post notifications on for my content. I do workout videos, bike rides, shoe reviews are coming, and of course, the cross-country race vlogs. You do not want to miss any of those videos. I'll make sure to leave the playlist right there, or right there, for you guys to watch. You do not want to miss any of those videos. And also follow me on social media, Instagram JK Running Productions, Twitter JK Running Productions, and Strava Joshua Krieger. Make sure to follow me on all 3 of those platforms. So with that, guys, let's talk about my 3 racing tips for racing in smaller meets during this COVID situation. So guys, here's my number 1 tip to racing during COVID. This is the number 1 tip. It's probably the most important tip on this list. Make sure to cover any moves that happen during a race, because with these smaller meets, there's simply not as many packs forming. So with not many packs forming, the field is so spread out. So that's way easier for gaps to form. And if you get stuck in a gap, it's just really tough mentally and physically to will yourself to the next person. So you're in a really tough spot. That happened to me in my first cross country meet. My teammate was like 20 seconds faster. The other person was 1 minute behind. So I was basically stuck in the middle, and it was a tough spot. I tried to catch that number 2 person, but mentally, physically, I was just not able to do that. So that's probably my number 1 tip during racing during COVID is you have to cover any moves that happen, and you cannot get in a gap, because you're just setting yourself up for a very difficult time and a very difficult race. Moving on to number 2, my second tip to racing during COVID is I would start out a little bit faster, because let's say you start out a little bit slow, then you're going to have to pick people off. And, you know, I like picking people off, but with these smaller meets, again, there's not as many runners to pick off. So then if you're trying to pick off runners, let's say you get into a gap, then it's very difficult to pull yourself out of that gap. So then you're setting yourself up for a very tough race. And again, I'm really centralizing on this one point here. Do not get in a gap. That is the number 1 point I want you guys to get out of this race is do not get in a gap, because if you're in a gap, it's just a rough time. You know, I was in that gap that first meet. It was just a rough time. So I would start out faster. I would cover any moves that would happen during the race. So here is my 3rd takeaway for racing in a smaller meet, and that is to push, push, push. So what I mean by this is, so let's say I'm running a race, I feel good the first mile, I feel really good the second mile. I usually find that I'm not pushing hard enough in that second mile, because what happens is you're just not running faster. That's what tends to happen to me. I know everybody's different, but that's what tends to happen with me. Usually I end up just getting too relaxed, and I'm just not pushing myself hard enough. Like for this race, I ran my 4th cross country meet, link right there. Basically, I ran 5:35 my first mile, but my second mile was 6 flat. Now, granted, there was a hill section in that, so that's why the pace was 6 flat. But again, that's a 25 second difference between that first mile and that second mile. So that kind of tells me that's what I need to work on. I need to work on that second mile. So again, that's another helpful tip for you guys. Keep pushing during a race. And, I mean, I've also used this for track too. I'll leave a link to my Wisco Mile right there. One of my very first meet that I broke 5 minutes in the mile. That's a pretty special race for me, guys. I found that I just needed to keep pushing, keep pushing. That first lap I pushed, second lap I pushed, third lap I pushed. I just kept pushing, and I ran 4:55, which is awesome for me, converted to a 4:44 or a 4:54 1500. So it was an awesome race, and that strategy really worked. So when I'm talking about this, I'm speaking from experience here. So, I mean, I'm speaking from experience here. I've used it in track, cross country, and that's what I find works for me. And I hope it will work for you guys. With that, guys, that's the video. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, turn those post notifications on for more JK Running Productions content. Again, I do workout videos, bike rides, shoe reviews are coming, and the awesome race vlogs are happening. I'm telling you, these race vlogs are awesome. You need to check them out. We have another one coming this weekend, so stay tuned for that video. Should come out Sunday evening, so make sure you guys gotta stay tuned for that video. It's gonna be awesome. Super excited to see the result of that meet. With that, guys, we are gonna do a question of the day instead of trivia question of the day. Who do you think wins the London Marathon? Comment that down below. There's the two main people, Eliud Kipchoge and Kenenisa Bekele. So I want you guys to put your race predictions in the comment section below. With that, I'm going to sign off like I always do. Rocking the Jamaican shirt. The grind never stops.